What is DEI BA? We acknowledge the Lenape Nation, the traditional owners and custodians of the land and water upon which we met. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. Hello. Hi, everyone. So today is a snow day. It snowed in Jersey, and so I am in my PJs and I am in my comfy attire as I take in everything that is happening in these United States. Okay. So I've said this before. I have a business, a small business, where I facilitate workshops on DEI related issues, restorative justice related issues, and understanding gender based violence related issues. So, guess what this video is about today? You guessed it, DEI. So, DEI is being tossed around. Those of us that have been doing the work for decades understand that DEI is just the catchphrase of the day. It's just the trendy catchphrase of right now, but understanding diversity, equity, and inclusion has been around for a long time. And it's also right now being used as a slur, which is weird because it takes creativity to convert something like diversity, equity, and inclusion to a slur. However, that was my phone. I'm sorry. However, with that being said, let's just dig right in to what diversity, equity, inclusion is and introduce some additions to DEI because DEI is not just DEI. DEI includes other aspects as well. So let's get into it. D is for diversity, E is for equity, I is for inclusion. Now, I mentioned some additions to DEI. There is B for belonging and A for accessibility. So I work with survivors of gender based violence, and you guys are in luck because, in addition to working directly with survivors, I literally facilitate workshops and trainings as part of my job as well. And so DEI has been a thing that I've been doing forever. And so when I am facilitating these trainings and workshops that I'm now doing in my private business that I was doing with my job, we talk about belonging and accessibility. And what belonging is, it provides a space for people to bring their authentic selves into spaces and provide some safety in bringing one's authentic self that will then translate in one performing the job well, in one doing a good job. And a good job is good for the bottom line for a business, and it's good for the person that's doing the job, and it reduces rates of and incidences of burnout, compassion fatigue, and any other vicarious trauma, that kind of stuff. So that's belonging. Now, accessibility is creating spaces where people that have different abilities are able to function and belong and be in a space. Accessibility is ensuring that workspaces have ramps, but it goes beyond that. It's ensuring that workspaces provide room for people that are hard of hearing or members of the deaf community to work. Accessibility provides spaces for members of the visually impaired community or blind people to work. Accessibility provides spaces for veterans that are living with PTSD to work. Accessibility provides spaces for survivors of gender based violence to work. So, accessibility is providing the the road, the vehicle for people to work in spaces that are safe. Diversity talks about different people and brings different perspectives. Equity talks about the policies and practices and positions where everyone is able to perform and everyone has what they need to do a good job, right? Um, so equity is not just, for example, having, if you need 10 people to do a job, it's not just a matter of having 10 people to do a job. It's a matter of having 10 different people provided everything they need to do a good job. And inclusion. Inclusion is ensuring that everyone has a seat at the table. It is ensuring that every member of the population, every member of the subgroup that makes up this country has a voice, has their opinion heard, has their culture taken into consideration. Um, DEIBA is a journey. It goes along with understanding intersectionality. It goes along with understanding cultural humility. And it goes along with being trauma informed. And it goes along with being survivor centered, people centered, and wanting and being a humanist. Like, there's no way that you can be trauma informed and be anti DEI. That's not how that works at all, ever. There's no way that you can be trauma informed and be anti diversity. That's weird. So once we understand what DEI is, I'm an idealist. I hope that people will say, "Oh, it's really not bad. It's not making white people the villains," which is what I've heard. Because anything that isn't white centered makes white people villains, um, based on the feedback that I've heard from some white people. And that's a different conversation for a different day because we can talk about um, things that have happened in history that have painted the white people as saviors and look at where we are now. So it's this is definitely going to be an interesting time, and I will say you are forewarned. It appears as though the Trump administration wants to outlaw DEI and make DEI illegal. Now, see, where was that energy when we were asking for lynching to be considered a federal crime? Right. Where was that energy when they were torturing people in Guantanamo Bay? Like, we could have these conversations, but we know really what the Trump administration is saying, right? Because, God forbid that someone that uses a wheelchair has access to their job, or God forbid a gay man is protected from sexual harassment or discrimination, or God forbid a trans woman has access to a fucking bathroom because trans people shouldn't use bathrooms. Like, so it's all in a day's work. This is my business. And if you want more information on what diversity, equity, and inclusion actually is, I'm going to make this part of a series. This is part one. I'm going to do 4 parts to start, and we will that rhymes, and we will see how it goes. Thanks for watching.